Bill Osmond, City Manager, and welcome to On the Agenda. You know, I accept the fact that we live in a computer world, and I guess I'd rather, when I telephone someone, some office, rather than just hearing the phone ring on and on and on with nobody ever answering, I'd probably prefer to have the automated attendant to come on. But you know, when that happens, you know you're going to get about 7 options, and whatever option you select, you get another 5 options. And we've decided with the City of Douglasville government that to the extent that we can, if you call City Hall, you'll talk to a human. And I'm sure that for those of you who've had the frustration that I've had of trying to get through and you're just listening to first one computer message then another, I'm sure you can identify with the frustration with that. So when you call City Hall, you talk to someone, and today we'll be talking with some of the people that would answer the phone if you call City Hall or the police department. I could have other guests from Parks Department, Sanitation Department, but we're focused today on City Hall and the Police Department. So hope you will join me for this episode of On the Agenda, and I think you will enjoy seeing faces that you can put with the voices that maybe you've heard when you've called city government. First guest today is Ashley Thompson, who's the receptionist at City Hall. Ashley, welcome to On the Agenda.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. Now, if I telephone City Hall when you're on duty, what do I hear?
Good afternoon, City of Douglasville.
All right. Now, a lot of times people call. I'm sure they know who they want to talk with. So if they know what department they want to talk with, what happens then?
I'll be glad to transfer you. One moment, please.
All right, but suppose somebody calls and they're not really sure of who they need to talk with. How do you approach that?
You said you needed a pool permit? Okay, I'll transfer you to the permit department. One moment.
Very good. Okay. Now, I know sometimes you probably have more than one call coming in, so what do you do when you got multiple calls to deal with so that people don't think, I've been stuck on hold?
Well, basically we have 4 lines. I will answer the first call, place them all on hold, and then go back to the first call. Usually it's pretty quick, and I just transfer them to the correct department, and normally it doesn't take very long at all.
Okay. And of course, in addition to handling incoming calls, anybody that comes in that front door at City Hall comes up to your receptionist desk. I imagine there are times that people come in the front door and call at the same time, so what do you do then?
Yes, sir. I will greet the person on the phone and place them on hold for just a moment, direct the visitor that's coming in to the correct department, and then handle the call after that.
Very good. Well, you've been a city employee now, I think, since April of 2006, and
Yes,
do
sir.
a great job. I know when I've telephoned City Hall, it's always great. You can just feel that Southern charm in your voice, and certainly when they approach the receptionist desk, they get that same voice and that great smile along with it. So how do you always manage that great smile and pleasant voice?
I enjoy answering the phone at the city. I basically would like to receive the same courteous and quality service that I like to give.
Okay. Now, I know that there are some times during the day that you don't have phone calls coming in, don't have visitors coming in, but you still have plenty of work to do because you're part of our finance department. We've got a computer terminal at your desk, and so there are a lot of things that you work on when you don't have calls of visitors. And of course, by being a member of the finance department, a couple of things result from that. As I mentioned, if you have any lull times, we can put you to work doing things that are of benefit to the finance department. And then obviously there are times that you need to take a break. We do let you have lunch each day. You may be gone for a full day, and then we can transfer somebody from the finance department out to the front desk so that we always have somebody there that's familiar with what we expect of a receptionist. In fact, you know, a couple of people that we have in the finance department had started with the city as receptionists. So But we think that you do a great job and appreciate all that you do. If you would, just tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you had a couple of connections with the city even before you became an employee.
Yes, sir. I've lived in Douglasville for about 15 years, and I went to high school here. My mother and my fiance both work for the city, so I enjoy getting to work with them. And I just love hanging out with my friends and family.
Very good. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us for a few minutes today, and I appreciate the job that you do. And to our viewers, the next time that you call City Hall, you'll know now the face and the person behind that voice. And the same when you come to City Hall. If you haven't been here before, you won't be coming in to see a stranger. You will have seen Ashley Thompson, and you will have done that because she's been here today on the agenda.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll do a switch, and I want to welcome another Finance Department employee to own the agenda. This is one of the ladies I mentioned earlier who started as the front desk receptionist and then moved into finance, where she's now an account clerk. So I want to welcome to own the agenda Josie Maldonado Whitey. Josie, welcome to City TV.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. Now, your normal duty station, you're one of two people at the pay windows there in the finance department, and your partner there at the pay window is Candace Crosby, who
Yes.
also started her career with the city as a front desk receptionist.
Right.
And you ladies both do a great job. You have people that come up to pay a bill, pay a fine, to get a permit. So how do you give good customer service to someone? Sometimes people that are coming there to pay fines aren't in the best of moods when they get there. So how do you make sure they get good customer service?
Well, both Candace and I do our best to assist everyone with their needs, and we feel that the most important thing that we can offer the public is just to greet them pleasantly, make eye contact, and sometimes you do have enough time for small talk. Just, how are you today? Have you been? How's the weather? Just small talk. And a lot of times they like that. It's just, make them feel that someone is paying attention to them.
Right. Now, I don't know that there's such a thing as a normal day for you, but just in the course of say, a regular work day or a regular work week, what would be, what types of contacts would you have with the public?
We have numerous contacts. A lot of times it is within our own department that we're able to assist them. A lot of times we have to refer them out. A lot of our referrals are to the Douglas County Hospital Drive Courthouse, across the street to Municipal Court, PD admin. We notarize documents for the general public, and we also give them contact numbers, websites to the Secretary of State, IRS department, on top of our daily duties, which are the citation payments, building permit payments, occupational tax applications. A lot of times people will follow up, and we just direct them to who they need to talk to.
Very good. Well, you and I both know that Douglasville, Douglas County in recent years has a growing population whose primary language is Spanish, and you're, of course, a bilingual. Tell us when you first began speaking Spanish and when you first began speaking English.
Okay. Well, I started speaking Spanish at age 3 because that was literally the language at home. That was the language both my parents spoke. And then I started kindergarten at age 5, and I just took off from there. I haven't stopped speaking English since then.
Okay. Well, now, you've been a city employee since January of 2005, and certainly an asset to us, in addition to being able to be a bridge for people who might come here to City Hall where there would be a language barrier, perhaps. I know you've served as an interpreter with the police department on some matters, and also have helped in finance, where we've actually felt the need to put some things in Spanish, so that you've been a valued employee there, as well as all the other things you do. And I know that you've made people feel comfortable, like, because I've seen that when you've got somebody coming in who doesn't speak English much at all, and that individual not knowing how they will be able to communicate. And I've seen the relief in their expression when they recognize that there's somebody there that can communicate easily with them in Spanish. And we appreciate what you do with that as well as everything else. So tell us about how you feel when you know you're helping somebody that otherwise would have difficulty communicating.
Well, Mr. Osborne, it actually is very rewarding knowing that I'm able to help a group of people or just a single individual, because I know my parents were in that situation before.
Right.
And I used to go places with my mom and dad, and I would help them to communicate with the other people. And I know if I wasn't there, my parents would have a very hard time, so I really know what it's like.
Right.
And it is a relief to them, it really is. But I also do still encourage them to still try to speak English,
Right.
because that is the primary language.
Right. You know, Josie, you have such a pleasant voice and that wonderful smile, and what I'd like you to do is, if somebody were to call on the telephone, whether you're at the front desk or where you are now, just tell us when the phone rings, how do you answer the phone?
I'll say, good morning, thank you for calling the Occupational Tax Department. How may I help you?
Very good. Now, if you have somebody that comes up to the pay window, what do you say to them when they come up to the pay window?
Well, we start smiling right away once they start coming down the stairway. And we make eye contact with them. And sometimes we even wave just to let them know, here we are, we can help you. And as soon as they're close enough, we'll say, hi, how are you? How may we help you? And a lot of times we know how we can help them by what they have in their hands.
Right.
A lot of times it's just a permit, or if it's a citation, we more or less know what we should say afterwards, because there are comments made to us on citation payments, and a lot of times we just say, we're sorry, but we can help you with
Right.
the payment.
Now, if that person comes up to the pay window and you recognize that they really are having difficulty speaking English, what do you say to them to reassure them that you can communicate?
Well, I'll look at them and I'll say, yo hablo español, si necesitas, yo te puedo ayudar. And so they'll say, you speak Spanish? And I'll say, yes, I do, and I can help you if you want me to.
Okay, that's great. Well, before we conclude, I know that you're very proud of your son and your daughter.
Yes, sir.
So tell us briefly about them, and also what you like about working for the city of Douglasville.
Okay, well, I love my children very much, and they're beautiful, healthy, and great kids, and they have respect for others, which is what I've been trying to instill in them. And my daughter did want me to mention that she loves to go shopping. So, Amy, that's for you. And David, he plays baseball, and he's seeking summer employment right now. And they're great. They're great kids. And what I love about working here at City Hall, City of Douglasville, is just the people in general. And also I've had a chance to learn a little bit about everybody's position here. And it's tremendous what each individual does here at City Hall. I know a lot of people may not know the job descriptions, but everybody here really deserves the position that they have, because they're very, very good at it. And they all love people, and we all get along, and it's just great coming here every day.
Well, we love having you as a city employee. I always enjoy being around you. You're a pleasure to work with, and certainly enjoy having conversations with you and seeing your real passion for the work that you're doing and for people. And thank you for being with me today on the agenda. And we're going to take a break at this time, and when we come back, I'll be talking with a couple of people from the police department.
Thank you.
My first guest from the police department is Stephanie Hudson McClarty, and she's one of 4 receptionists that we have that work in the police station. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, somebody is on duty, and we appreciate the work that they do, in addition, of course, to answering the telephone when somebody calls the police station. They also are the receptionists for people who come to the station. And when they're not busy with that, then they're working on inputting data into the computer. In fact, her title is Data Entry Operator. So she's got a lot of things she's doing, but Ms. McClarty, welcome to On the Agenda.
Thank you.
It's great to have you today. And before we talk, I do want to make one thing clear to our viewers. Now, if you have an emergency, you call 911. You call the police station if you need to talk with somebody at the police station, but for all emergencies, you don't call the police department, you don't call the sheriff's office, you call 911, and then of course 911 dispatches those calls or forwards those calls to the sheriff's department or to the police department. So just keep in mind that when Stephanie and I are talking about calling the police station, police administration building, we're not talking about emergency calls, but we're talking about when you're needing just to reach the police department. Now, there are various reasons why people would need to telephone the police department. And when you do, you'll talk with Stephanie or one of the other employees who are on duty at that time. It depends on whose shift you call on, but now if you call when Stephanie is there, here's what's going to happen when you call.
Douglasville Police, Stephanie speaking. How can I help you?
All right. So, you know, Stephanie, I know you get a lot of different kinds of callers. I'm sure that not everybody who calls is in a good frame of mind when they call because they may have some problems that they're dealing with. So how do you make sure that even when you have to give people an answer that they really don't want to hear, that they know that you're trying your best to give good customer service for them?
I tell them that if I can't find any help for them at that time, that I will get a supervisor that's in charge of the day that's working. And most of the time when people do call, they want a copy of a police report. And when the officer takes that report out on the scene, we tell them that it takes 3 to 5 business days before the report is ready.
Right.
But most people want the report that day. And that's one of the things there that I try to explain to them, that it takes 3 to 5 business days to get it all in the computer. But I'll see what I can do, and most times I can get it to them before then.
Right, very good. Well, I'm sure that during the time that you've worked for us that you've had a lot of unusual situations to deal with. Give us just an example of an unusual situation.
There have been times when parents have had to bring their juveniles into the police station because of children being unruly. And at particular times, a few of the juveniles have wanted to run away at that time while they were at the police department. And I've called them into my office, and I've sit them down and talk to them to try to get them calm and the situation calm until the officer comes in and takes over the situation.
Well, that's great. And certainly that's an excellent example of providing service to our citizens, which we want all of our employees to do. Now, before you leave us today, though, tell us a little bit about when you started working for the city. Tell us a little bit about your family and the work you do as a data entry operator, and also tell us what's it like to do your job.
Okay. I started in November of 1996, and I've worked nights also at the police department, and I've worked 1 year in records. And I really enjoy my job, especially the day shift receptionist. I'm there at 6 in the morning till 6 in the evening, and I get to do a lot of talking. And I really like it. I have to do a lot of entries. It's like entering stolen vehicles, missing children, stolen cell phones, stolen guns, entering wanted people. And that's a lot of work there, is keeping up with the entries.
Well, Stephanie, we appreciate the job that you do, as well as the other people in that same position, because I know you're working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I thank you for being with me today on the agenda.
All right, thank you.
As you've probably heard, Georgia is facing its worst drought in history. We must conserve water now. We can't wait until we reach the bottom of the barrel to start conserving. Join me and all other Georgians in this effort now. Take pride in your dry front yard or your dirty car. Fix your leaky faucet. Take a shorter shower. To find out ways you can conserve, visit conservewatergeorgia.net. The time to act is now.
Now I want to welcome another employee from the police department. And this employee is stationed in our police administration building. In fact, she's in charge of trying to keep things straight for the chief and the deputy chiefs and a lot of things down in that building. So I'd like to welcome Becky Lewis. Good to have you on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. I'm glad to be here.
And tell us what you do.
Well, I guess my first duty at the admin building is watching the front desk as far as incoming phone calls and any visitors that may come in during the day.
I know you've been with the city for several years.
Yes, sir.
So tell us what you did when you first became a city employee and anything that you did before you moved into your current position.
Okay, well, when I first came in, I was still at the front desk, but at that time, the courts and records was in our same building. There was like 8 or 10 women in the building, and the 2 girls that was in courts was in the office behind where I am now, and so I helped with courts. And it was really fun because at that time, we didn't have our own court facilities, and we had night court at what is now the old courthouse. And soon after y'all got the building here, y'all fixed a court. I think it was like in this general area is where we're filming now, that we had the court during the day, and I was working during the court system at that time then. But then after y'all bought the municipal court building, I haven't done any with the courts. But at that time, I really enjoyed it because it was good to learn how all the full process in the court system worked because I had never dealt with that before, so it was a good learning time for me.
Right. Well, you know, I enjoy calling the police administration building, and although I've got the direct line of the chief and the other people, I usually just call the main number, and I do that because I want to hear your voice, that it's always so full of joy and you've got such a positive attitude. How do you maintain that?
Well, I love my job. The people that I work with are great. The entire police department, we're like family. And I love people in the first place, so I really enjoy coming in every day and doing my job. It's really a wonderful place to be.
Right. And you know, in addition to being a very good employee for the city and contributing to your community by being a good city employee, I know that you also get involved in various community activities.
Yes, sir.
And we don't have a long show, so you can't talk about everything that you get involved in, but just give us briefly a couple of things that you do in your spare time to contribute to the community.
Well, when I first came, we did the March of Dimes as city teams, and then right a year or so after I started, I was invited by some of the city officials and county folks, and we went to Paulding County to observe their Relay for Life. I had never heard of the Relay for Life, and I was very anxious to see what it was all about. So when I got there and saw what the purpose was for the relay and the importance of what these people were doing, I was very taken by it. So I was very thrilled when Douglas County decided to have a Relay for Life every year, and I was good to go as soon as it came on. I was on board, and I was there for 13 years with the Relay for Life. But last June of 2007, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I had never heard of much fundraisers as far as diabetes goes, so I called the American Diabetes Association, and I was allowed to host a fundraiser here in Douglas County. And I did a Dancing Under the Stars street dance last year, and I had a great turnout. We made a couple of $1,000s for the American Diabetes Association, so I was really proud of that. But my really heart goes on Sunday mornings when I get to go to church and be with my 20-plus little 3- and 4-year-olds at Crossroads. I really live for Sunday mornings. I love my children. They are at Crossroads.
You know, Becky, that wonderful outgoing personality that you have, I think, has motivated you both to be a great employee of the city with good customer service skills as well as what you do in the community. And we appreciate you being a part of the team here with the city. Give us, though, just a quick report on your family.
My husband Mike and I have been in Douglasville for 33 years, and we've raised 4 children. We have Lindy, Tanya, Ryan, and Brady, and we have 8 wonderful, beautiful grandchildren that we're very proud of.
Okay, of course there are times when you're not on duty because you do get an off day occasionally, and there may be or you may be away from your desk and somebody else is handling the front desk and
Yes, sir.
answering the phone. But if somebody calls and you're working, when you pick up that phone, what do they hear?
Police Administration, this is Becky.
Okay, so if you do that, you now can put the face with the voice. And Becky, we do appreciate all that you do for the city, and it's been great having you today on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today on the agenda. Hope you'll be back next time and we'll have a different program. This is Bill Osborne on the agenda.